What's up, gamers and nerds? It's John of Video Games in the World, and welcome to the weekly news of video games in the world, bringing you the news of the week with a main event that involves either positive or ranting about something. Let us begin. Our first news is PS5 officially outselling every Xbox console ever released. It's been 5 years since the PlayStation 5 was released, and since then, it has become very popular, bringing remastered games, new games, etc. However, despite its popularity, a lot of people were not too happy with how expensive it was and how expensive it continues to get after 5 years of its original release. It turns out that the console is now up to 84.2 million copies sold after shipping an additional 3.9 million units during the 3-month period ending September 30th, Sony has announced. I gotta say that it was quite an increase on the 3.8 million PS5 units Sony sold during the same quarter last year. Even though it is an impressive number, it's still very, very expensive. Like, it can take a whole paycheck out of it. The PS5 increased in price this year to $550, and video games have gotten even more expensive. To be honest, I don't buy a video game unless it's on sale for a good price. However, when it comes to Microsoft, the most sold console was the Xbox 360, since it was the second most popular Xbox console that redefined that video game graphics by bringing them into HD. The PS3 also brought HD to video games, and both were competing for the top spot. But unlike Sony, Microsoft does not make Xbox Series X and S sales figures public, but analysts have suggested that combined Xbox Series effort being outsold by the PS5 by at least a factor of 2 to 1. Although the PS5 has outsold the Xbox, it's slightly behind its predecessor, the PS4. The PS4 has sold to retailers more than 86.1 million units after 5 years on sale. But Sony said that this console generation is its most financially successful ever, with sales surpassing those made during the reign of all previous Sony consoles. Sony has already started talking about making the PlayStation 6, but it still has a number of PS5 exclusives yet to come, such as Marvel's Wolverine by Insomniac Games, which is due out next year. There are also reports that Sony is planning another handheld console, which could be the first PS handheld since the PS Vita. As much as I love the PS Vita, the PSP had way better games. Change my mind, if you can, in the comments. Sony has already started talking about making the PlayStation 6, but it still has a number of PS5 exclusives yet to come, such as Marvel's Wolverine by Insomniac Games, which is due out next year. There are also reports that Sony is planning another handheld console, which could be the first PS handheld since the PS Vita. As much as I love the PS Vita, the PSP had way better games. Change my mind, if you can, in the comments. Okay, our next news is a V for Vendetta TV show on the way from HBO. Alright. V for Vendetta is a movie I remember watching when I was 19 years old. The movie starred Hugo Weaving, Natalie Portman, Stephen Fry, Stephen Rea, and the late John Hurt. It is a dystopian thriller directed by James McTeague in his directorial debut from a screenplay by the Wachowskis, the two brains behind the iconic movie series The Matrix. It is based on the 1988-89 DC Vertigo Comics limited series by Alan Moore, David Lloyd, and Tony Ware. So, what is V for Vendetta about? Its story is set in a future where a fascist totalitarian regime known as Norsefire, led by Chancellor Adam Sutler, has taken over the United Kingdom, and they basically rule it with an iron fist. They are similar to Nazi Germany, and they have forced the people they label as undesirables into labor camps such as Jews, Africans, Asians, homosexuals, bisexuals, transgenders, etc. The story centers on V, an anarchist and mass freedom fighter who attempts to ignite a revolution through elaborate terrorist acts, and Evie Hammond, a young woman, is caught up in V's mission. It is known that V for Vendetta is getting a TV series for HBO Max, and the showrunner is Pete Jackson. He is not to be confused with Peter Jackson of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he is the one who wrote the British series Somewhere Boy. Pete and Peter have a similar name, but they are not the same. The executive producers of the show are James Gunn, Peter Safran, Ben Stephenson, and Leanne Klein. There are no details currently available on who is attached or how much of the comic series is going to cover. To me, V for Vendetta is a story that is very relevant in today's world, given how things are right now with all the prejudice, discrimination, stereotyping, blind assumptions, and the stupidity of people who blindly follow the idiots in charge. And that oligarch I'm not going to mention, because unfortunately to them, ignorance is bliss. Here's a fun fact about myself regarding the movie. As you have heard me many times, I was anti-LGBTQ due to how uneducated I was about those people. This movie made me realize that LGBTQ deserve equality and love like everyone else. But then when I went to a Christian retreat, I felt like I was going back to my anti-LGBTQ ways, being against same-sex marriage, until the day of that argument with a lesbian co-worker. That lesbian co-worker didn't convince me to leave my faith, but to look in the mirror, self-reflect, and take shame in the ugly reflection of bigotry, and to not spew lies, to save myself. From the consequences, of course. What V for Vendetta is teaching us is to not be afraid of our governments, but that governments should fear the people. It also teaches us to take shame in the ugly reflection of bigotry and prejudice. A story that made me cry in V for Vendetta the second time I saw it after the argument with a lesbian co-worker was the story of Valerie, a lesbian who was disowned by her parents after she came out to them. She became an actress, married the woman she loved, until Northfire came into power and took her away. I will admit that I was pretty sad the first time I saw that movie. As a heterosexual male who is remorseful of my anti-LGBTQ past, I feel the need to do what is right when someone I know who is in the LGBTQ community is being discriminated against, to defend them and make these bigots ashamed of their ways. Whenever I look back at that anti-LGBTQ past that I am ashamed of, it scares me how I could have been like those bigots like Anita Bryant, Kim Davis, Fred Phelps, and Shirley Phelps Roper. I choose to follow the example of Mary Griffiths, for she realized the error of her ways and self-reflected to fight for the LGBTQ in her son's memory. Well, I've gone around long enough talking about this. We must proceed to the next news. Kazuki Motoyama, the author and artist of Kodansha's Super Mario Bros. Manga, has passed away at the age of 69 years old. His sister, Risa Motoyama, confirmed his passing on her official Instagram account. Now, I've read video game mangas like Mario, and his art was amazing. Great character development, art and story, and good humor too. My heart goes out to his family and friends. From 1988 to 1998, Motoyama-san illustrated Mario and the rest of the Super Mario Bros. Family for official game strategy guides and the official manga published under Kodansha's manga anthology, Comic Bomb Bomb. Thanks for everything, Kazuki Motoyama. Rest in peace. And now for the main event of this weekly news. This week I saw the trailer for the upcoming sequel of the 2023 movie, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I gotta say that this movie already looks so amazing, and it captures the spirit of these amazing Super Mario Galaxy games for the Wii. Both games are now remastered for the Switch and Switch 2. This is going to be amazing to see, and I hope they don't screw this up. Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic are returning as directors, and Matthew Fogel is the writer of the sequel. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was a success, and I have faith that this one will be a total success as well, and Yoshi is expected to appear. The returning actors are Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Keegan-Michael Key. New faces in this cast are Benny Safdie, who will play Bowser Jr., and voicing Princess Rosalina is none other than Brie Larson, known for movies such as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, 21 Jump Street, Room, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, Fast X, and The Marvels. Seeing Bowser Jr. and Rosalina in this movie made me very happy, and I can tell this is going to be another Mario movie that will succeed. If only back in 1993, when they were making that live-action Mario movie, they could have used the original screenplay that was more in touch with the source material. But no. Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel had to deviate from the source material and totally screwed up. I have got to say that Benny Safdie will do well as Bowser Jr., and hopefully in the future, we get to see the Koopalings such as Lemmy, Morton, Iggy, Ludwig van, Roy, Wendy O, and Larry Koopa. Now, the Koopalings are named after famous singers and musicians such as Lemmy Kilmister, Morton Downey Jr., Iggy Pop, Ludwig van Beethoven, Roy Orbison, Wendy O. Williams, and Larry King. Brie Larson being Rosalina, I must say, is a really good casting given how good of an actress she really is. Seeing Rosalina being a powerful and proactive character with her own mission is very close to the Super Mario Galaxy game. In the game, she acts as a central supporting character and guide to Mario, and also has a unique backstory. I remember when Brie Larson said that she wanted to be Peach in a Mario movie at one point, and now she's Rosalina. I still believe that Brie is still planning to play Samus Aran in a Metroid movie. Brie is a Mario fan, and I gotta say she is perfect for the role. And that is all for the weekly news. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. This is John of Video Games in the World, and I will see you soon. Take care.